And the latest we have from the northern parts of the country, 3 regions to be specific, where flooding is taking place because of the opening of the Bagri Dam. 10 people have passed already, and at the moment, relief items are being delivered to the victims. We move to other stories, and Member of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, Ras Mubarak, is alleging the state-owned EXIM Bank has paid musician Shatta Wale 2 million Ghana cedis to work as a brand ambassador, an amount he says the artist does not deserve. At Wednesday's sitting of the committee, Mr. Mubarak claimed a check has been issued to the musician to that effect.
These are public funds, and in spending public funds, there has to be accountability to the good people of Ghana through their representatives in Parliament. And it is fair that we get to know the basis, the criteria. If Ghana EXIM has outsourced some work to somebody, it is important that we have full disclosure of who got what, you know. And
you mentioned 2 million cedis.
I mentioned 2 million cedis that went to Shatta Wale, and indeed, as you may have heard from the Deputy CEO, they according to them, they wouldn't know who the vendor selected, that they don't have the criteria. And this is not to say that we have a problem with Shatta. This is not to say that we have a problem with Shatta Wale getting some amount of money to do whatever work EXIM gives them. But the Ghanaian public deserve to know how much went out, who got it, and
did you get those responses from this sitting?
The answers were not satisfactory, and it gladdens my heart that the chairperson of the committee has given indication that we may have to invite Ghana EXIM, back to the PAC when we put together all the documents that we are gleaning on.
So you have some, apart from the Shatta Wale one, you have a sense that others have gotten monies in the creative industry. There have been stories about Ejako and others.
I don't know about Ejako, but in respect of Shatta Wale, that is what my briefing tells me. Okay, and as I've indicated, I mean, brilliant artist, fantastic. I know him personally, nothing against him. Okay, but this is public funds. If you're giving 2 million cedis to an artist, what is the basis for selecting that particular artist? And if it were your money, would you actually be spending 2 million Ghana cedis? Because that's quite a lot of money.
Do you get that sense that it's not exactly judicious use of the sums in terms of handing them over to artists like that, and that if these people were managing their own funds, as far as the managers of EXIM are concerned, they will probably not have given all this much to artists like Shatta?
As somebody who's had, interactions with a lot of artists, obviously artists have to be paid for, their intellectual property, their creativity, but you ask yourself whether 2 million Ghana cedis is a judicious use of public funds. Okay?
You're not convinced?
I am completely not convinced that, this is how we should be spending the people's money, especially, at a time when we are health, when, we are living under dire straits or conditions.
Now, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Kwame Edu-Dakwah, says he is unaware of such a payment, explaining the bank had only engaged a communications consultancy firm to brand it, and it is the firm that is dealing with the brand ambassadors. The Export and Import Bank is a non-commercial entity set up in 2016 by government to provide loans to business people to support an export-led economy. The Deputy CEO insists engaging brand ambassadors plays a key role in helping its image. Now, let's take you live to today's hearing for the latest on Graphic Communications Group and their debts. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is monitoring proceedings there. Joseph, what has been happening today?
Let's begin with the Graphic Communications Limited. They've been indicating that for the year 2017, for example, unsold newspapers that they produced amounted to something in the region of more than 7 million Ghana cedis as money that they didn't get eventually, which the committee members say is very much on the high side, and they should take the necessary steps to reduce how much unsold newspapers they end up producing. Not just that, the director of Graphic Atwafo has been telling the committee that a number of agencies owe them for unpaid newspaper supply to them, and also advertisements that have been done in the graphic newspaper and other newspapers, including the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. He indicated that newspaper supply to Parliament dating back to May 2020 has actually not been paid for. And earlier data existed that the Speaker, Professor Michael Quay, intervened and got paid, but since then, as far back as May, the monies have not been paid. And Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Avedi, has been assuring them that the necessary processes will be rolled out in order to get the amount recovered. Additionally, the Data Protection Commission has also been appearing before the committee. There's been questions to them about the work that they've been doing to ensure that even as government takes steps to collate adequate information on citizens to help deal with COVID-19, what is being done to ensure citizens' rights are not infringed on. And the Commission says it's working with the implementing authorities as far as the Executive Instrument 23 is concerned to avoid any breach of human rights. But some other two interesting points have come up. For example, the Auditor General is querying how come a board member of that particular commission was resident in Nigeria, and every time he has come to Ghana for a board meeting, Ghana has to pay for the airfare to the tune of 15,000 Ghana cedis. And they've been asking that that particular practice is discontinued. And additionally, on that same board of the Data Protection Commission, a board member was cited as having taken certain allowance when he hadn't attended a board meeting. And according to the commission, the said amounts have actually been recovered. And so currently, officials from the Ghana Investment Fund are actually before the committee, led by the Communications Minister, so also responding to questions as well.
Thank you, Joseph. That was a very interesting point you raised about the Data Protection Commission's board member traveling on the commission's ticket to the tune of 15,000 cedis. Do we know the number of trips that this board member took? Do we know the time period within which these trips took place?
To go through the figures, on the 27th of March 2015, he actually sought for a refund of airfare to the tune of 6,373 cedis. So that was the first one. On the 29th of July 2015, he again got a refund traveling between Ghana and Nigeria to come attend board meeting to the tune of 4,400 cedis. And then finally, on the 11th of December 2015, he again sought for a refund of airfare to the tune of 4,735 cedis. And so those are the three specific incidents in which the third board member, who is actually resident in Nigeria, and the Auditor General's report mentioned his name as one Professor Ago K.M. Quay, who is actually the third board member. But from the officials of the commission, following the outgoing of the previous administration, a new board has actually been set up, and he's no longer on the board, and conscious efforts have been made to ensure that those who are serving on the board currently are individuals who are residents in Ghana, so the board doesn't have to pay for those extra expense.
Thank you, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, for bringing us those details.